What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Absolute Strength Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hunt, and I'm back with another episode. And today's guest is IFBB Pro David Henry. And I gotta admit, this episode was extra cool for me because I know I talk about on the podcast when I first got into lifting, got into training, I was all about the bodybuilding magazines. I was all about reading as much information as possible, whether it was books, magazines, whatever. And a lot of times it was magazines. Every time I went to the store, it was muscle and fitness, flex, muscular development, just whatever bodybuilding magazine, fitness magazine there was, I would buy them up, read them. I had subscriptions to a lot of them. And I remember when I saw David Henry for the first time. Being a shorter guy, I'm only 5'5" myself, so when I saw David Henry, who's 5'5", looking he was the most jacked, had the best 5'5" physique I've ever seen. That's why his nickname is the Giant Killer. But I remember being, early teens, 13 years old probably, and seeing David Henry being, holy shit, this is the ultimate short guy physique. And this was cool. I always kind of looked up to David's physique when I was first getting into it. Shit, I probably even had the David Henry magazine. He was on the cover of Flex, and they probably put like a free poster or something. I probably had it up in my garage gym at the time. I'll admit it. So yeah, this was a cool episode. We talked a little bit about training, but for the most part, we just kind of shoot the shit. Like we talked about his background, how he got into training, how he got into bodybuilding, because he also was in the Air Force, so that was kind of interesting. And then, talked about his bodybuilding career, and, it was cool. It was a cool episode. We'll probably have to do another one just because I feel like we could have explored a lot of different topics, both like training, nutrition-wise, and personal-wise a little bit more, but this is interesting. This is definitely an interesting podcast. I think you're going to like it. All right, before we get into the episode with David Henry, I want to talk about PRBreaker.com. PR Breaker Materia. The pre-workout I use, the pre-workout I recommend. You know the drill. PRBreaker.com. Hunt10 gives you a discount. And I also want to mention, because I've been getting a bunch of questions about the Absolute Strength ebook program lately. What is it about? Well, this is the easiest way to explain it. The Absolute Strength program is a program designed to increase your squat, bench, and deadlift. So it's essentially a powerlifting program, but I kind of describe it as more a power building program. Now, it's definitely focused on powerlifting and the power lifts, but there's a ton of assistance movements in there. It's pretty high volume. It's geared towards people who. It's pretty much like an off-season powerlifting program is probably the easiest way to explain it. So it's not peaking you for a meet. It's not even really going to peak you to test your 1RMs, although pretty much everyone who runs it the first time, if they do test at the end, can hit a PR. But for the most part, it's an off-season program, well-rounded, balanced, geared to increase your squat, bench, and deadlift, but almost like from a big picture perspective. It's not like, hey, we're going to really like, for example, my bench press specialization programs. Now, those programs are designed to literally, you start from day one to the end. We're like just building your bench. We're like peaking your bench. We're like training for the test. See, Absolute Strength is more just, it's a program I wanted people to be able to run multiple times. And you can just run it. You run through the program, take a deload, go through it again. Run through the program, deload, take it again. And then once you decide to do a meet, okay, now, we can set you up to do a meet prep. So that's kind of, I think I should probably mention that more just because it seems like I get a lot of questions about it. But that is the gist of Absolute Strength. The link is always in the show notes. If you have any questions, you can go to that page, and that should give you more information. Or just shoot me an email, kylehuntfitness@gmail.com. And I guess I should mention that when you do purchase Absolute Strength, you get a free 8-week peaking cycle. Because I can hear everyone now, like, well, Kyle, like, what the hell, man? Like, I'm going to run Absolute Strength, and then, like, you don't help me actually test my PRs. Like, what the hell's up with this? I got you. All right. That's all I have for you. That's the intro. Let's get to the episode, David Henry. David, what's going on, man?
There's not much, man. Just Monday, just chilling and grilling. So
chilling and grilling, I like it.
Yeah.
When I first got into bodybuilding and training, it was mid 2000s. I was in high school, and being a shorter guy, I'll tell you what, I wanted to be David Henry. Seriously, that was like you were like the bodybuilding ideal physique for me when I was just getting into it.
Yeah, I hear that quite a bit, man. And
probably from shorter guys, right?
Well, I mean, they act like I'm the only dude around and shit, but it's like I'm just another 5'5" guy, you know. And they think that being that short is the ability to build muscle. You got another thing coming. Oh,
I know. Yeah. That's actually a good point because I've heard that my entire life. I'm sure you've heard that. It's I don't know. You always hear that when you're first getting into training, being a shorter guy, especially from the taller guys. They're always like, "Oh, you got this advantage because you're shorter. You can build muscle more." But that's not really the case.
No, and if they took a little time to do a little research and I don't know, make some scientific fact on that, they'd shut the hell up and just stop complaining and get it done.
Yeah. When you were this is like I said, mid 2000, probably 2005, 6, you were all over Flex magazine. What was that point in your career? That was a few years in?
Yeah. Turned pro 2002, but I didn't compete all through 3. I competed in 2004 with a bunch of 7th place finishes on the Open, of course, with some current competing names, some retired, some moved on. Now 2005 was the breakout year just from the Ironman and the couple of one of the California shows as well previous to that. So that was when I started blossoming, if you will, because Muscle Tech had picked me up.
Yep, I remember that. Yeah.
In May of that year of 2005, I remember my wife was with me at the time, and I had her looking up my first ever contract, you know, wondering if I should do it or not. And she's like, do it. So I was like, you know, again, as an amateur, you're like, shit, all right, I can get paid for this. You know, how much? All right, fine.
Yeah, the supplement deals were a lot different back then.
Yeah, because they had a bunch of Insta bros and Insta hosts fucking it up for everyone.
Exactly. Yeah, that was so different. You know what I mean? Like, even like the magazine culture was so different because obviously this was before social media took off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, for guys like me just getting into training, like, the only way to connect was through Flex magazine, Muscular Fitness, or whatever, all those ones.
Right. Yeah, most definitely. And those were good times. Those were great times. You know, people actually would go to the stores and couldn't wait for their edition to come in and see what was going on. That's really all they knew and how they knew we were doing things and what was next, you know. So those are easier times.
Yeah, I remember going to the grocery store and always like just going right over to the magazines and sitting there and reading them.
Yeah, I'd go in there intentionally after I was like, oh shit, I'm becoming somebody here, and open it up and like then like yell out, oh, that's me, and then like leave the page open on the stand and walk away. And then people come by and be like, what's this guy talk? Oh shit, that's him.
Okay. Well, you were on some covers too.
I've been on 8 covers worldwide, to include a bunch of German ones, a bunch of ones from Poland and France, all that were sent to me. So I have those. I have one of my best friends, Mike Gustafson, who was in a NABBA Mr. Universe.
Yep.
Is from Sweden, and he sent me the Swedish edition of their magazine and stuff, and I was on the cover of it. So I've been around the world. I've been seen. It's been translated in different languages and stuff, and Korean and things like that for the covers and stuff that I've been on. And you know, again, at the time that was in the age of not being somebody's golden boy, and money didn't rule shit, and you know, and all kinds of other crap that's going on right now.
Yeah, it was very different times. And that was also from like the pro bodybuilding side. That was when you used to have to compete in the Open.
Right, correct. Up until 2008. You know, so for the first 3 years of my career, actively competing, it was in the Open stuff because that's all there was.
Yeah, that's all there was. Well, the one year you was it the Olympia wild card or something that you won?
Yeah, 2005. Yep.
Yeah. What was that? I forgot about that, but I just remember that you got into Olympia, then did pretty well in the Open.
Everyone forgets that. They think that some current competing 212 guy is the only dude on the planet, and forget that some of us actually were way famous and more famous before they were.
Yeah, well, I actually remember when they first came out with the 212 division. I was like, holy shit, that's David Henry. Like, that's going to be your.
It was 202, then it went to 210, and then 212. So the 210 is when I didn't get to compete on that. The 212 is when I came back.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you were, what were you? You were.
I missed a year.
Yeah,
I was deployed for a year, so military called, and I did my duty at and above expectations during that time, and that's what I raised my hand voluntarily to do. So I had to go.
What first got you into training?
I was a track and field dude in high school for my time. So So this is where actually I'm going to throw out the height card. The height was to my advantage because none of that shit mattered. Running the hurdles, doing shot put, discus. I did a 100-meter, the 200. The 4x100, what was it? Yeah, 4x100, something like that. And the 220 hurdles, man, short hurdles, of course, the shorts, and stuff like that. So those are the things I just love to compete. I mean, that's just been me throughout my entire existence, as far as I can remember. If I can beat you, I'm going to try to. If I can't, I'm going to give it hell. And if I do beat you, I'm that guy that rubs it in. So.
Yeah.
That's just all I've done. So that's where I got my kind of start, because the musculature built up from there. Always down in the starting blocks and things like that. I didn't touch a weight at the time. And at 16 years old, I got pictures to prove I look better than most of these knuckleheads running around the net right now.
Yeah.
It's untouched. Some people seem to think we just touch stuff at an early age and that was it. I'm like, get out of here, man. You're that naive. Go do something with your life.
What did you weigh at like 16 before you even got really into lifting?
135.
Like 135.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't wrestle.
You know what? That wasn't one of those real big things where I grew up.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in San Antonio, Texas. Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I'm a Texas boy through and through. So
there wasn't a lot of wrestling. You don't really hear much. No. You don't hear much wrestling from Texas.
No, you don't. I mean, and you won't. I mean, you usually hear it from a lot of Midwest stuff, Kansas, Iowa, and Minnesota, stuff like that.
I'm from.
Yeah, you hear.
I'm from New York. It's pretty, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio. It's pretty big up there. Yeah, being a shorter guy.
You can do that, man. We did all the crazy other stuff, man. I mean, what was in high school?
Football was probably huge.
Football was still huge.
Yeah.
A&M, the Aggies, man, the Texas Longhorns, University of Texas, so UT at Austin, all those big things were. Texas was good for those types of sports. Basketball, of course, we got our San Antonio Spurs, man, who was just smokes people for several years of NBA titles.
Yeah, they're like the dynasty.
Yeah, they are, and a lot of those players still live around the area, man, and stuff. It's cool to see those guys walking around town. You're like, wow, I still live here. So that's really what we were known for, man. So not a lot of wrestling. I was 135 in high school up until senior year, and I gained a little bit of weight. I went to I was like 155. So I started working at Jack in the Box, man, as my first job. So I ate all the food I could, because it was free. So I blew up that year, So that was cool, and that's about it, man.
And then when did you start lifting?
I tried to train at 16. There was a guy that my mom knew whose son who at the time I thought he had huge arms, man. He came back to the school to do some speaking. His name was Fred Smith, and at the time he had 18-inch arms, and I was like, man, this dude's got the biggest arms I've ever seen. He had a gray army shirt on, t-shirt on, and
super
his arms
tight,
were poking out of it, super tight, medium shirt.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this dude's arms are huge. And then I found out who his dad was. His dad worked with my mom. on base. And so I talked to my mom, man, and I enlisted Fred Senior's, his help to train me and stuff. And I was like, I want to be like his son, you know. And he started training, man, and I don't know. It was just like, it was weird. It's because as a teen, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, he tried to explain the exercises to me, and I just then look back now, like, man, that was a failure and a half. And every day I was coming home sore and just beat up, and it was like ridiculous. I trained on base, so that was easy as far as getting there because I could drive at the time, of course, and so it was horrible, man. So for about a year, I tried this. I didn't gain anything. I just was like, I didn't pay attention to how I was changing. If I did change at all, I don't have any pictures really to denote that. So I just stopped. I mean, I was like, I've had enough of this crap. So I was like, I went on and been a teenager, man, just living life and stuff until, I graduated high school and, went off and got my degree in electronics and stuff. Other than that, just chilled.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that when you first started lifting, like you didn't really get hooked or didn't really see a ton of progress, because normally the newbie gains, it doesn't really matter what you're doing, you're going to see a little bit of progress.
I probably did, brother. I really did.
Yeah, you probably did.
I just didn't pay attention, and because I've always been shredded.
Yeah, you're really lean. Probably
any gains I made, because I was a hyperactive child anyway. All the food just went through me.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably weren't eating enough to even really keep up with the.
No, I eat Southern food, man. There's a lot of Southern cooking around a Texas house. If you don't know, man, we eat a lot of high fat stuff.
Yeah.
And things, especially when you're not cooking for yourself. You got to eat what mom makes, man.
Oh, yeah.
Or well, again, like I said, I worked at Jack in the Box, so I was always at work.
So Southern food and Jack in the Box.
Yeah, man. It was high fat bacon and grits and stuff like that in the morning, man. And some of us can relate with the Southern boys out there to listen to this. The mom that had the can on the stove with the bacon fat or whatever fat was in it, and it would separate into layers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Would you use that to cook?
And they would dig down into that stuff to cook and just put a plop of that in the cast iron skillet.
Well, what's wild though is that's probably, quote unquote, healthier than a lot of the like hydrogenated oils that
current stuff now.
Yeah, current shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. We fried pork chops and everything in the same oil, and then when it was done, you strained all the bits while it was cool, and you strained it back into that can.
Yeah,
and it was like another day, man.
You probably never got to the bottom though.
No, if you got to the bottom, it's probably a horrible sight.
Yeah, you don't want to get down there.
No, you don't want that stuff. So, but it was a good time, man. Good times growing up. I did my first show, the Latin Classic, when I was 16 as well at that time, and I took third in the lightweight novice class. I think there was only there's like six dudes there.
Yeah.
At the time, really small, man. The Latin Classic at the time was tiny. I mean, I think they probably only had like, Jesus, 50 competitors total in the whole thing. Sure, now I go back, man, it's like huge. They got like 250 competitors, for this military contest. And it's a very, very big deal down there in San Antonio. So I'm glad to see it grow.
Yeah. When did you start taking bodybuilding serious?
When I first went to Korea in 98, a couple years after, 3 years or so after coming in, I went over there, didn't have much to do. You separate from your family. It's what they call a remote. I was stationed at Osan Air Base, and I was
in
like,
the Air Force?
Hey. Yep. So Osan Air Base, I was stationed there from 98 to 99, and I was like, man, there ain't crap to do here. So, but eat, sleep, go to work, go back to my dorm room. And I was like, whatever. And they're like, oh, the Osan Championships is coming. I was like, bodybuilding championship. I was like, I'll do it. Why not? I remember I touched the weight at some point, so I was like, I got in the gym. I was training. I then at the time, grabbed my Flex magazine. It was like how to diet for a contest, and it was all kinds of stuff about eating baby food and stuff. So I was going to the commissary and getting baby food. Shit, man, I lost so much freaking weight. I was like a soft, like 140 something pounds, But I won the first place middleweight and most muscular award. And stuff. So that was cool. That, I was like, woo. Yeah. Rich Gaspari trunks.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones around at the time. I don't think Jaguar and CJ's Elite and all that other stuff was around at the time. And then I came back. Back stateside and didn't really do much else, man, until right after 9/11.
Yeah.
So before all that, I hit the gym. I would maybe hit the gym once or twice a week, if that, during my career earlier. After that time passed and I got back to my next duty station, man, I was like, the gym wasn't really a big part of that, even though people were always looking at me like I was a bigger dude than most, and I didn't see that. So
then what happened after 9/11? Then you
9/11 hit. I got tasked. My unit got tasked to go over there. We were second B1 unit to go over there and replace Ellsworth at the time. Where was I at? Yeah, Ellsworth at the time. I was at Dyess Air Force Base in Abilene, Texas. So Ellsworth, my first duty station, those guys were over there first. We got tasked as the next B1 unit to go over there second and replace them because they went immediately after 9/11. Like as soon as it hit, they scrambled planes and aircraft down that way. We went in. I was there from January to May, right after that. So 2012, or not 2012,
2002.
2002. So got tasked, went over there, man, met a bunch of powerlifters and stuff. And I was like, dang, in another one of those scenarios, nothing to do. So I was like, dang, we had a giant California tent, plywood wood floors. It was hot as shit. It was like 108 at like 9 o'clock in the damn morning. Went over there, started training with some powerlifters. They showed me how to sumo deadlift, how to conventional deadlift, regular powerlifting squats, regular powerlifting bench press. And that's pretty much limited on the equipment that we had. So bodybuilding wasn't a big thing. So I blew up, man. I went over there. I put on my weight after I came back. So I was like 175, I think. And I went over there. I blew up to 191 by the time I came back. So I came back in about May time frame, mid-May. And I was like, man, I look like a trucker, bro. I was smooth, had like moves.
Yeah,
boobs. It was kind of gross.
Were you pretty strong though with training with the powerlifters?
Yeah.
What were your lifts like?
Geez, I was doing 5.5 or so sumo deads. Because that's what I was more structured to. We figured out earlier on that my physique, my structure, my bone structure wasn't suited for conventional deadlifts off the floor.
Yeah,
could not nail the technique, man. I was doing more damage than good. So sumo deads about 5.5 off the floor. From there, my squats were about 450. Again, this is at that body weight. And bench press, I think, was like 375 or some shit. Nothing overly impressive by any means for most people nowadays who's freaking 14-year-olds are doing that stuff, I guess. But then it was a big deal, training like that. So I get big barrel chested and everything else, and came back, man. I was like, dang, I don't want to sit here and look like this. I remember what I used to do, and I used to compete, or I'm competitive, and I stepped on the stage once. I was like, how about I try this again? So I found Rich Daugherty from Beverly International Nutrition.
Yeah, I remember Beverly. I didn't know you did anything with them.
I so did, man. I was their poster boy for a little bit.
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I remember the Beverly shit, yeah. I actually ended up, when I was 17, when I first got into like my online business and stuff, this was back in 2000. Well, I graduated high school in 2009. So by 2010, I did some work with Beverly. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yep. I had Rich Daugherty, who was in Texas, of course, at the time. I was still at Dias. Take me under his wing. He was like, okay, he's like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to go to the USAs and stuff, or the nationals. He's like, the USAs are coming up. That's in July. We can get you ready for that. And I wanted to back up, though, and say I did compete at the nationals in 2001, right before I deployed on my own. I drove to Atlanta, Georgia, after winning everything in Texas, and thought I was the shit and got like 12th, I think, out of 21 dudes. So I was pissed. I thought I was the heat. Got my butt handed to me or whatever and stuff, and came back. And I was tasked to go to the desert after that. So I wanted to make sure my chronological order of competition was correct. So I did hit the nationals one time, sight unseen, just straight out the gate. And I was like, ooh, top 3, you qualify for the Nats. Did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like everybody else is doing.
Yep.
I went over there, boom, did that, did the best I could, I thought. Got smoked and wiped and everything by everybody there. Current competing pros too. So went back. Rich Daugherty took over my nutrition, and I was on all those Ultra 40 liver tabs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they did. They still do
handfuls of that crap. I was like,
Ultra 40 liver tabs. Yeah.
Oh man, all that shit.
That old school shit.
The stuff actually the proteins tasted good. Not a bad.
I was gonna say their was it the Ultimate Muscle Protein was pretty tasty.
Yep. Yeah, there's some good stuff. All those liver tabs.
Those liver tabs. I forgot about those. That's funny.
Getting that additional protein in. So you're getting additional beef protein. That's like 2 grams per tab. Those things were huge, bro.
They were
like giant roaches.
I had those. I did those before. You take
it's
like 8 at a time. Yeah, it was like each meal, or in between meals too. Sometimes. They wanted you to do it like in between meals.
Yep. So I was doing all that stuff, man, and I was shredding up, man. I really was.
What was your diet like? Right then, around that time.
You know what? I can't even remember, but I do have the blueprint that they.
The Beverly blueprint.
Yeah, I still have.
I have that. I think I still have that somewhere.
I have it somewhere, and it's so fun to look back at that, man, when I can find it. But it was pretty simple,
all the meals were about the same. Where it was like
meals were about the same, and it included grapefruit.
Yes, grapefruit for breakfast always.
Right. So grapefruits included that stuff, and included it. I was getting shredded because again I went from 191, which of eating everything that there was to offer when they're deployed, to a strict bodybuilding diet. So my body responded really, really well, really fast. I came down to 164 for weigh-in for the middleweight, that for the contest, and that's when I saw glutes were delineated, hamstrings looked good. I was freaking vascular as all get out. It was ridiculous, man. I was like, oh shoot, I was feeling like I'm top of the world. This guy got me where I wanted to be, and he did. Give that man some super credit. I take credit for the training part. And I did train on my own. No one else trained me during that time.
What was your training like at that point?
I was doing like a lot of power building, if you will. So I kept some of the powerlifting moves, and I read up on doing other bodybuilding supplemental stuff. Cable crossovers, tricep pushdowns, kickbacks. The leg extensions, of course, hamstring curls, calf raises, all that other stuff. But I kept bench presses in there. I kept the squats in there. Kept the sumo deads for the most part. When I could do them, when you're training in another gym, get back stateside, it's kind of commercialized. So it's like you kind of get it where you can.
Yep.
But it worked. However I was training worked. I went in, gave it my best shot, took second to Stan McQuay, as controversial as that was. Yep. And I'll say it's controversial. That's where I found out the politics of this game really were hidden, because I remember a guy coming to me, Troy Moore, gave a tap on the shoulder, and I was sitting at the back of the audience, crowd at the time, just chilling right before the night show was about to happen. He goes, "Hey, bro." I said, "What's up?" He goes, "You're not going to win this, right?" I said, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah.
He goes, "You're a new guy. They don't know who you are. You're not going to win this contest. You look fantastic, and you're smoking them, but you're not going to win this." I was like, yeah, whatever. And I didn't think much about it.
Yeah.
I didn't think much about it. I went, back for the evening show, did my little cheesy ass doinker routine. I don't even know what music I used, man. Did my cheesy freaking routine, came over there and they were like starting announcing the top 5 or 6 or whatever at the time. And boom, boom, boom. I got called in second. I was smiling, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Got, get your stuff, whatever. Called Stan McQueen in first. And everybody was like, hey, whatever. So I went backstage, man. And after I walked off that stage, I was like, that motherfucker. I was pissed, bro. Because then what Troy had said to me resonated in my head. And it's like, you're not going to win this despite how you look because they've already got their winner picked. And I'm like, this is bullshit. And I remember going up, and this is the asshole of me at the time. I remember going up to Stan McQuay, and while he was packing up his stuff and getting ready to go, I said, hey, man. He said, yeah, what's up? I said, congrats. Oh, thanks. I said, are you going to be at the Nationals later this year? He says, nah. I said, good, because I'm going to beat your ass. And I straight up said that to him.
Yeah.
Man.
What'd he say?
He didn't know what to say. Like, who the fuck's this guy?
Yeah. And
I walked off, man. I was like, fucking cocky little bastard I was, man. And I walked off, and I was like, I trained my ass off later that year. I was like, okay, I'm coming for heads, you motherfucker. So you're not going to do this shit to me again with that politic crap. And so I did. I gained another 3 pounds. I weighed in at 167 and a quarter officially for the Dallas Nationals in 2002, November 18th. Okay. And that's the same stage Tony Freeman was on and Derek Farnsworth.
Yeah.
So
the monsters.
Derek Farnsworth, me, T-Free.
Yeah, they're big.
We all won our respective classes. Not only did I win my respective class, I have the official printout and scorecard of that day. Straight 5s across the board, i.e. 1s, if you will, place, at the time. So that's undisputed right there. And a lot of guys were on there who I beat, who are current. And Tricky Jackson was on there, Garrett Allen, Eric Bowie. So there were some names that were on there that I ended up taking out that didn't turn pro for another couple of years or so after, and stuff. But that was definitely a pinnacle of that. So it's like, where do I go after this? Now that I've earned IFBB pro status, what do I do? I'm like, dude, thumb twiddling.
Well, especially weighing 167 pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
And and that's where you come to terms with your inner demons and stuff, man, and you make the decisions you make, and you've got to be comfortable with yourself and the decisions that you make, and everything's a choice. No one's making us do what we do. Excuse me. And I made the decision in 2004, to kick this up a notch. So
you didn't beforehand?
No.
Wow.
I'm scared of shit, dude. And rightfully so, man. I can literally say without a shadow of a doubt, I went to the entire Dallas Nationals, USA's, and almost my first year as a pro, unassisted.
Yeah, that's wild. That's crazy.
Period. It was diet only. I remember Phil, he's seeing me when I was doing my stuff. He's like, this dude really does diet on grapefruits and stuff. I'm like, he's like, that's all I knew is still the Beverly International diet.
You're like, it's a liver tabs, man.
I was like, yeah, it really was, man. That's where I found I could get striated glutes and things like that going on, man. And so people, they can choose what they want to believe, and I have nothing to freaking hide from them and nothing to gain by lying to people about what I did and don't do. People to this day will still be amazed what I don't do, So it's just the assumptions, and fine, keep guessing. If that's going to make your life feel better, go ahead, go for it. But totally unassisted, man, all the way through. Let's see. I remember playing with man, what was that stuff called? Biotest. Remember Biotest? Did you ever hear about Biotest?
I'm trying to think. The name sounds familiar, but I can't remember what it was.
Biotest was one of the first sublingual androgens. I think they started playing with pro hormones.
I was going to say, with like a pro hormone?
Yeah, and like in 2004, I remember we used to do that stuff at work. It was like this little bottle, and it was supposed to convert to some crazy androgen in your system, and I think it did.
Yeah, well, a lot of that shit did.
We were all jacked up freaking andro dudes. I think it did convert andro 1.
Andro,
yeah, and it was a liquid form, and you'd had to hold it under your tongue for like 10 seconds. We were doing that shit at work, which again, it wasn't illegal. It wasn't wrong. They sold it right over the counter.
It was over the counter shit. Yeah.
Right at GNC. And Biotest, I believe, was the ones that did that stuff. And that's when I started making some serious gains. I was like, ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
Wonder what I could do next. You know, like I said, so that's when you take
like a natural progression
to the dark side, if you will, of things. And that's what happened. So up until that point in time, man, I was totally clean of everything, man.
Yeah.
So I can probably.
Well, yeah. I mean, you were at a spot where, I mean, you turned pro.
I was older, bro. I was older.
How old were you?
27 years old.
Yeah, 27. Yeah.
There's dudes like freaking 22 who look absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
You know, right. So it just comes to show what how the time and progress and things and technology and information and stuff has changed the face of pro bodybuilding physiques and all the rest of that stuff over the years, man. You know, you wouldn't find no 22-year-old looking like we did back then like that. You crazy? You get side-eyed forever.
Yeah. Well, I think people are starting shit earlier too.
And that's true. And so because I did not, I'm like the Randy Couture, man. I was the old dude starting late in an industry where people were starting younger. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which is why everyone's like, how can Dave still keep going? Well, dummy, I didn't overdrive my system right out the gate. I haven't screwed myself up over the years of doing things, because moderation is key. And again, not doing what you think I'm doing is also the key. So keep guessing, homeboys.
That's funny. Well, how did your training change over the years? I remember reading back in the day you were doing some like the dog crap style training for a while.
Right. 2003. I moved to Arizona. That was my next duty station. So I met Scott Stevenson, my current trainer, friend, nutritionist, acupuncturist, every damn thing. And he saw me training, and he went up to me and was like, "Hey man, I see you're training really hard again." I was still doing my power building.
Yep.
He said, would you like to try a different way of training that's going to give you better results and stuff? I'm like, well, fuck yeah. Finally somebody's talking to me to help me out. Yeah, man. So he started showing me DC training, told me what DC stood for, dog crap, told me how Dante Trudell got the name dog crap.
Wasn't it like a forum name or something?
It was a forum name only because like he didn't know what to call himself. And he's like, go call the training. He's like, I don't know what to call it. I guess someone just call it dog crap. Yeah. And that, so, you know, people grabbed, that's awesome. Yeah. Well,
it was actually kind of smart, just because it was like so strange, you know?
It was. And the training concept is sound. It still is today. I don't train it, of course, at all anymore. But when I started, it did put a lot of weight on, a lot of gains on me. Matter of fact, it put so much weight on me during my first year as a pro on stage. The 2004, I competed. I was like 181 or something like that, roughly around during that whole entire time when I was placing all those seventh places. And 2005 was where I really made some gains, man. I went up. I took the 2005 Olympia wild card at 187 pounds. And looking, I printed out that list of people that were on that stage that day.
The Olympia wild card?
Yeah. Who I beat. And pretty fantastic.
Who was on? Who did you compete against that day?
It was Greg Rando. If you remember Greg Rando was a blind pro bodybuilder.
Yeah, I remember him.
He had to physically be let out on stage.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah,
he would feel. Yep, he could feel the beat. And man, that dude would smoke most of these knuckleheads talking shit on the internet, because without even seeing his body. You think,
that's wild.
freaking smoke you right now without even seeing his body, and you got stuff to say. What does that say about you?
Yeah.
What does that say about you? Now, granted, he was a pro, so people are going to say what they want to say with that. But I got the list here.
Okay.
It's on my phone. Where the fuck's it at?
Oh, I can't see it.
Yeah, I know. So number 1, David Henry. Number 2, Brian Chamberlain.
Yeah, I remember him.
Number 3, Eddie Abu.
Yep.
That dude was huge.
Yeah, he was a monster.
Number 4, Frank Roberson. He's the Texas Tornado. Remember?
Yeah.
Number 6 was Armin Scholes.
That name sounds familiar too.
I mean, I competed with him a bunch of times. Number 7 was Luke Wood, who passed away.
Yeah.
Number 8 was Greg Rando, and number 9 was Mike Morris.
Wow. Yeah. That's wild. So you were 187 there, won it, and then got to jump into the Open Olympia, right?
Yeah. The regular Olympia the next day, man. Placed 14th out of 21 guys. I wasn't 14th in all others. It went down to 16 and then all others. Mm-hmm. So 14th and I got like $2,000. First time I got paid like that. He's like, hey, thanks for coming, at the Olympia. Yeah. So, and that was good. And that fueled me up to hit it harder and heavier again. And then 2006 was another banner year for me when I placed second to Lee Priest at the Ironman.
Yeah. Remember Lee Priest back in the day. That
was single digit point spread. So all these guys calling themselves the giant killers and shit and ain't accomplished anything. Get out of here, man. I actually was given that name on the stage that night of the Olympia wildcard by Bob Ciccarello and Dan Solomon.
Yeah.
So because of who I beat and the size that they were compared to me and stuff at that time. So I've had that moniker for better part of 13 years now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's not like I made that shit up and gave myself my own nickname. That's foul. Don't do that. That's weak. So weak.
I always laugh when I see guys with with nicknames in their Instagram bio or whatever. I'm like, where the fuck did you get that nickname?
No, like Danny Padilla, I understand. They're going to keep going back to him. I was like, fine. Yes. At the time, he was.
Who'd you say?
Talking about Danny Padilla, the original.
Yeah, he was actually from Rochester, I think, up in New York.
Yeah, so, right, yeah. So, he was like a short Rocky.
Yeah, he was like 5'2" or something.
Yeah, man, he was badass at the time.
Yeah, I remember him,
Everything, and he was original, OG on that. But of the current competing pros, I am the OG, and I am the giant killer of this because, 1, I didn't name myself. 2, I'm probably like the oldest dude on that damn stage with an Olympia win.
Yeah.
Everybody else, is coming up behind me with stuff. But so that's myself and Dexter actually are head to head on who's got the most competing years and titles together.
Yeah, so Dexter.
We're the 2 oldest dudes.
Yeah, he's been around a long time.
Right. So and he's been smoking these guys left and right too. You know, with one Olympia win under his title.
Yeah,
the same year.
That was the year you won too. Yeah. It was 08.
The same year, man. So there you go. And we've both been beat by people we shouldn't have and stuff over the years, but we're still here, still kicking it. And it's because we're doing things smart. And a lot of people don't know that we actually talk to each other off camera and in person about things and stuff. Mm-hmm. So thinking they know what they know, they don't know shit. So
why? What do people say?
Oh no! They think they know what we're due.
Okay.
It's always that. It's nothing like Dave's a good guy. He does X, Y, and Z. It's always that point of bodybuilding. Don't take into fact I work at a gun store. Don't take into fact I'm a firearms expert. Don't take into fact I'm a barbecue competition ninja will whoop your ass. Don't take into account I've got 3 freaking degrees. Don't take into account that I'm a family man that's worked 40 to 60 hours a week for 20 years in the Air Force. Mm-hmm. Don't do any of that, guys. Don't do any background checks on that. But,
it's tough because whenever you get really good at one thing, it's easy for people to just pigeonhole you into just that. Like, Dave Henry, he's a bodybuilder. He's the bodybuilder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Those that know, if they've been following my IG here lately now, I'm putting up more grilling pictures and stuff. I'm about to throw some more stuff on the smoker here. I do some more burgers on the regular grill tonight, but I'm going to throw some pork tenderloins out there on the smoker on Wednesday. So I'm going to make sure people get to see that one too.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. What's your nutrition like these days?
I gotta stay fairly decent with intake and stuff because I've got 2 guest postings coming up. I got one at Chad Nichols' show in Wichita, Kansas in May 19th to be exact. Mm-hmm. And I've got another one in July. So June, nothing, but July I have one in New Mexico for Seth Vigil. So I got to try and stay somewhere in a decent shape. And me with decent shape, somewhere between 215, 217 is where I'll stay. And look really hard, really good, like I should be able to just drop water and get on the stage. And that's for me. That's a good look.
Yeah.
And then once those 2 guest postings are done, temporarily build my body up to around 225, and then before I take it back down for the Olympia status stuff. Not really a true off season. Between points are not really true off season. It will be. From the O or after a few contests after the O and on, it will be an off season because I possibly am not doing the Arnold next year. I'm all set with the shenanigans that happens in that contest.
Yeah. What happens at the Arnold?
Well, let's just say if I'm not from certain countries and shit, that ain't gonna happen.
Really?
You know, it seems like they are the people that should be winning it aren't. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're like, it's almost like trying to spread the freaking wealth between countries and shit.
Oh yeah.
Look at your last winners.
Yep. Yeah. That makes sense now. Actually, that you said that.
Right. Okay. So it's like, all right, you got me. This might be the first time I'm actually fucking going.
Yeah.
Show. So for those of you who didn't see or hear that was double middles.
Yeah. for the audio only. Yeah. Yeah, so what would be like a day of eating for you right now? What's a typical day look like?
No, I'm still doing decent in the morning, man. Whole eggs, some egg whites in the morning, turkey bacon, going on for my first meal. Second meal is a carb meal with a decent amount of carbs in there, 4 to 6 ounces of something, depending on if I'm training on that day. Mm-hmm. I keep it keto all the way up to training still. Okay. Post workout is a bunch of carbs. From 600 to 800 grams, which is a lot. Just try to refuel.
Yeah.
And, non-training days, there will be only 1 carb meal in there, usually on meal 2. The rest of them are keto, only. So try to stick with that.
You go no carbs up to pre-training. What time do you normally train?
I train in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So around
that makes sense.
10 a.m.
So like one like just protein only meal, protein fat meal beforehand.
Correct. And I have an intra-workout shake with my training always. And that consists of pretty much a 2-to-1 carb protein ratio. So, if I've got 50 grams of protein in there, I have like another 100 to 120 grams of carbs in there.
What do you use for sources?
Well, I can't really tell you that part of it.
The name brands. Well, just like
it's a different brand. Of course, you got your glycerols in it.
Yeah.
You got waxy maize. I've got a micronized creatine in it. Okay. Substance in there. Branched chain amino acids. Those kinds of things. It's the makeup of the product that I add into. And I hate the individual that has this product anyway, so fuck him. But he makes a good product.
So that's why you're not saying.
I'm using this shit as an intra workout.
That's funny.
So that's what I do. And,
is there like a hydrolyzed whey in there?
It's an ion exchange whey.
Oh, okay.
It's easier on the stomach for me, easier to digest, especially when I'm taking in those amounts during training. I count that as an actual second meal because of everyththing that's in it, because it's a really high calorie, high calorically dense shake. I take a scoop of greens of pretty much whoever's green systems I can get, stuff. I'll just scoop of greens all the time because I don't eat regular vegetables throughout my day and stuff as I should. So I'll get it all in the form of those. At least 4 days, at least the minimum 4 days a week.
Yeah, the greens powder.
Yeah, super greens, super foods, and stuff like that. Really good stuff. feel pretty good. Internally, I feel fine. I'll get my blood work done here probably end of next month to see where I'm at, coming down off everything and stuff. And, those things are definitely an important factor.
Yeah.
Everybody should be doing, put to see what kind of metabolic stress you're putting on your system. Get your blood work done before a contest, after a contest, despite how horrendous it may look.
Yeah. Just
to see what you're dealing with, so you don't further exacerbate any type of issues that you have already. And silent killers, man, are the ones you just don't know what's going on, and then the blood work will tell it all.
Yeah. It
really will. I mean, you can look at that and be like, you see all these H's and stuff. You're like, high, whoa, and, most of that stuff, what it is contributed from, but still you see that stuff and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, that ain't good.
Your HDL, your LDL levels, your AST, your ALT, your SCOT, all your creatinine. You're like, hey, look, bro, take some this, bring them down, get out.
What does the doctor say?
My doctor, he does. Oh, I don't go to the standard docs, man.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah.
No, we don't, because doctors are asinine, man. They there's no docs looking out for you with this type of stuff. It's still to them an unknown. It's like an unknown little entity with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
They still don't know what to think and why we do what we do, and they're just biased, man. A lot of them are biased. So you go to the actual ones that know what's up and know how to treat any types of things that you got going on or whatever. So
is it more like an endocrinologist, or just like I don't know, just someone who's more familiar with probably
all of that, really, because for example, you get your family practice doctor, and they freak the hell out once they do your blood work. They're like, whoa. And then they start wanting to send you to all these freaking specialists, which is what happened when I first got here, right? I was like, dang, I'm out of the military now. I need to go find my own doctor. And I went to a standard family care dude, not looking like anybody.
Sees you walking in.
Correct. Looking like nobody in this New England area that they seen, and I was like, hey, I need an annual checkup and stuff, man. Blood work and everything else go on, and it comes back and he's like freaking out, wants me to go see these specialists.
That would be a funny video. I could just picture that, like a video. You walk into
It's comedy. It is comedy. So he wants to send me all these specialists and stuff, and send me all these liver docs and stuff. I was like, I know what it's from, man. He asked you, are you using X, Y, and Z? I'm like, well, yeah. He starts wanting to scribble the shit down. I was like, hey, don't freaking put that down. My notes, you idiot. I was like, no, don't write that shit down. I was like, don't write that down, you dumbass. So I know what it's from and stuff. I just asked you to do the physical checkup part. I didn't need all the rest of the shit you're trying to run. Yeah. So he runs a panel, and that's fine. So after that, I was like, okay, I've had enough of this dude. So, he going to send me all to the heart doc and endocrinologist and liver panel tests and
$50,000 later.
No, well, lucky me, I'm covered for life under my military retirement. Good. Nope. I have to pay for that shit. So you get $10 copays. That's probably the extent of my worries.
Yeah.
On that. So it was just all this stuff that they want to do to you. And it's like, you get somebody who knows exactly what they're up against and what is going to change your values to what, and you're okay, because they understand it. And once you come off everything and you treat yourself accordingly, everything will go back to near normal, if not below normal levels.
How do you find a doctor, or how did you find your doctor?
Man, I tell you what, it's like word of mouth, just like anything that we do. A lot of stuff is, hey, had my buddy who, found this guy stuff. It's not, they're still doing stuff on legal up and up. There's nothing illegal about any of that stuff. It's just, they are specialized in performance enhancing stuff in specialized areas. So that's what they do, and they know how to treat those things if anything comes up. Other than that, because our conventional medicine doctors, man, they want to hack and slash and send you to all kinds of x-rays and shit instead of really treating you, when trying to treat the problem. When they're, they just, they don't do it that way.
Well, your average family doctor really doesn't know anything about performance,
No.
like even from like a nutrition or training standpoint. I mean,
No,
let alone anything else.
Right. So I don't have time to explain all that to them, man. And just, I just wanted to find a primary care should I need to get stuff done. And that was probably just the wrong decision. So, you get out of there and get your records sent to somebody who gives a damn and is willing to do the work and stuff and not make assumptions and judgments.
Yeah. How many days a week are you in the gym right now?
4.
4 days a week. What's your split look like?
4 days a week. It's still 4 days a week, man. That's all it's ever been. And so I Sunday, Mondays, which I just trained today. I'm off tomorrow because I go to work. I'll be in there Wednesday and Friday, not Thursday. Because the days I don't go is because my wife works. So we got to kind of take up some time. But I'm in here Friday, so the Saturday is open, and I'm back Sunday. So 2 on, 1 on, 1 on, 1 off, 1 on, if you will.
What's the what muscle groups are you hitting each day?
They're different. And again, this is fortitude training, so the layout is not like your average layout would be. It's like day 1's legs.
Yeah, something different.
It is, but it isn't. Fortitude is unlike DC, where there is tier levels. There is load sets, which are basically straight sets of weight. There are pump sets, which your ranges are between 15 and 25. And then there is the muscle rounds. Muscle rounds are the 4x6 that you're going to hit for the entire workout. For stuff, and that occurs on a different day as well. So, for example, yesterday was leg day, if you will. Primarily, it was straight sets. So you pick out 2 compound movements: squats, leg press, or whatever, leg press and lever squats or something like that. 2 of those straight sets, straight weight. Go do hamstring movement, either stiff-legged deadlifts. Seated hammy curls, lying hammy curls, one of those 2 for your 6 to 12. Then you go do a total compound movement for legs. So that would be like lunges, Bulgarian split squats, something like that to finish it off. So that's lower leg area. Adductors get hit, 1 set in there. And then calves get hit for 3 sets of the 6 to 12s. That's all lower. Upper body gets hit with the pump set stuff. Pump sets meaning now I'm just going to basically do like a chest back superset.
Okay.
I'll do pull-ups and dips back to back. Bam, 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 bam. Knock them out. Just get some blood flow. Knock out a quick set of bicep curls, quick set of triceps extensions. Completes my day. I'm done.
Oh, wow. How long in there? Not very long?
About hour 15.
Okay.
The next day, today, is now upper body load sets. So that's going to be your heavy stuff. So I'll go with like incline hammers for chest, 3 exercises for chest, 3 for back, meaning a back width, back thickness, back width, alternating between, again, straight sets of 6 to 12 reps, static weight. Then I'm going to go to shoulders, usually some type of press, 3 sets of that. One set of press, 2 sets of other stuff, rear delts, and then side raises on there. Triceps, 1 set of that, done. Lower legs now get the pump set. So now, pretty much all I do, I do a century set, do the banded leg extensions. Those are a pain. They hurt like no other. So put the band around the leg extension and try and kick it out. Usually get to around 50 before you fail, and then you start going by 10s.
Yeah.
and praying that your legs are going to fall off. So I'll do that. And that's pretty much it, man. It rounds it out. I'm done again. Out.
Yeah, it sounds It sounds pretty similar to the DC training in a way where it's lower volume in terms of sets per exercise and stuff, and then with like the super high volume like Century stuff, the Widowmaker style stuff. So yeah, it kind of sounds similar.
Right. Again, what he took was the DC way of training, the Leo Acosta way of training, and Leo Acosta was the inventor of Titan training. If you don't recall, if you do recall, if you don't know as well, look it up. Leo Acosta Titan training was the model for fortitude.
Okay.
He took DC and Titan and pretty much mashed them together, extrapolated the rest times that were required for optimal performance. Determined all this stuff Scott was doing on his own as a beta tester himself. He was testing this stuff out. Meanwhile, I'm running around the gym doing DC training, breaking myself down, and he's doing all this. And I'm like, "What are you doing, bro?" He's like, "I'll bring you along when I figure this out." Yeah. He used himself as a guinea pig, and all this stuff. He was testing different theories of rest times. Why I use a watch, everything. Everybody sees me wearing a watch, and I'm looking at my watch all the time. Not because I'm freaking wondering what time it is.
So you stay pretty strict to certain rest periods.
Right, correct.
Yep,
so rest periods, the pumps or the muscle rounds are specific because there's 10 seconds rest in between each round.
Okay.
The 4x6, so 4 reps 6 times. Okay, the 4 reps, 10 seconds rest. 4 reps, 10 seconds rest. 4 reps, 10 seconds rest. That's where you get your 4x6.
Okay.
And that's where the watch comes in handy, or somebody yelling at you go comes in. For that. And then you've got around, depending on what day that is, if it's a muscle rounds day or if it's a load set day, in terms of how much rest you get in between each pieces of equipment. Again, that can vary a little bit, plus or minus a minute or so, depending on how far something's located from the other side of the damn gym. Where you train. Sometimes they don't have things scattered as conveniently as they should, and you got to get over there. But that's really how it's supposed to work.
Cool. Yeah. Man, David, this has been it's been fun having this chat, dude. Thanks for coming on the show.
No, of course, man. Anything else you guys need and stuff, I'd be more than happy to bring people along and let them know what's up.
Awesome.
You got some personal questions you got on there, or anything, or what, for the audience? Or
not really.
Stuff you made up, stuff you were curious about, anything?
I'm trying to think. I think we covered pretty much everything. We could do another one though, for sure. I like to keep these super laid back, just us having a conversation. I don't really plan too much beforehand, but
no, it's easy, man. I like doing interviews. I got a lot of crap from one of my other ones, man, because I remember it was Veterans Day, and I was giving an interview about certain things, and I'm talking about certain things being a mindset, and I got a bunch of other branch individuals that had issue with what I had to say. I'm like, you know what? Here's the thing: we all raise our hand to do what we do voluntarily for this great nation, and because I have a difference in opinion than you do about a certain condition, doesn't mean I'm like the super bad guy here. Get a grip, guys. Really, you got more shit to worry about than what Dave Henry thinks. He's like, so I caught a lot of flack for it was a certain topic, and that's what I'm saying. So and I was like, okay, you guys, you know what? Next time that comes up, I'll just defer it to those that are medically trained to talk about it, I guess.
Oh shit!
So, yeah, it was quite wild, man. And I saw this crap. Some dude was trying to blast me on Facebook. I'm like, I'm not hard to find if you really got a problem with it, bro. Just be aware of who I am and what I do. If any of you clowns decide to press the test button, I work in a gun store, you idiot. I conceal carry, okay, as well as every other things that I'm trained in. So go ahead and press your luck if you want to.
Most people the internet allows everyone to have a voice where if they saw you in person, they'd never say anything.
You know what's funny is I've never met any of these individuals in person.
You'd never meet them.
Not in my 13 years as a pro have I ever met any of the haters up close. Because I'll tell you right here, and anyone listening, you do that, and you do that in front of my family, I'm afraid that you are not going to like what's going to happen because, one, now you're disrespecting me in front of my family. Two, you must think I'm just one of those guys that's going to take it and just stand there. If you don't know, my 2 military fights, I've been in trouble twice in the military for fighting.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I ain't afraid to fucking punch you in the face or throat or anywhere else.
What happened there?
Yeah. One guy I got in trouble.
What year was this?
Downtown. 98, when I first went to Korea, I got in trouble. Mostly everybody gets in trouble in Korea. Mm-hmm. But this was not your typical scene. I was downtown. I was supposed to be on base by 2 a.m. curfew. I was on base by 2 a.m. curfew. I was in the taxi line at 1:30. There was a dude and his chick up in front of me, and he was severely inebriated and decided he was going to puke all over the place. Oh, so I had a brand new set of Doc Martens on.
Yeah.
And he's getting that stuff all over the ground. I'm like, whoa, man, watch out, bro. So he looks up at me. He's like, what'd you say, you little motherfucker? And he wiped his mouth off. Right? I was like, ugh, gross. I said, I'm just telling you, watch out, bro. You almost got my boots. So then he just started puffing all up. I was like, oh, here we go. I'm the little guy, right?
Yeah.
That's what he called me. I called me little motherfucker. So I was like, all right, here we go. I was like, you know what? I called the security forces over and said, hey, man, come here. He's like, what's up, bro? I said, this guy is obviously drunk. I told him not to puke on my boots, and now he's got an issue. He goes, so you know what? You get in that taxi, beat it. I was like, cool, I'm out. Mm-hmm. Got my taxi, went back to my room. This fool gets in his taxi, went back to his room. I go up my stairs. I get ready to put my key in the damn door, and lo and behold, to the left side, I look, and I hear crap going on, and about 4 doors down, there's that clown.
Oh, my God, the puke guy?
Me? Yes. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Smart guy like me should have been like, oh, put the key in and go inside the door.
Yeah.
Nope. Not asshole Dave Henry. So I put my keys in my pocket, and I start walking down the hallway, and I see this guy goes, there's that little bastard right there that was talking shit. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I was ready. I was like, oh, here we go. We're going to fight now. So I went down the hallway, and he and I were squared off toe to toe in the middle of the hallway, and his girlfriend was in the middle of us. I should have punched her in the face. She was aggravating everything.
What was she saying?
So she was like all in my dude. Most women, when they're drunk,
oh yeah,
and with their boyfriend, are worse than the dudes.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man. So she got in my face. All of a sudden, I see this fist come over the top of her head towards my face.
Uh-huh.
So I moved.
Yeah.
I moved because it was his hand.
Yeah.
You know, now she's out of the way, and I smashed him in the face, man, and he falls in the doorway of some chicks that come out because they were already looking out their door like, what's going on? Commotion in the hallway. It's a dormitory rooms. So everybody's opening their door like, what the hell's going on out here? Because there's a lot of racket. And so this fool's lying there in a freaking puddle of blood over here, and his girlfriend is screaming, and whatever happened. And I feel somebody grab me, and it was my roommate, and he grabs me and pulls me back towards my room and throws me in the room. It's like, don't come out. Bam, shuts the door. Should have stayed where I was.
Oh, boy.
Should have stayed where I was, bro. I grab a bottle of water. I took my jacket off like I was just waking up. I come out in the hallway like, hey, what's going on? I'm drinking my water. And there's a crowd of people in there tending to this guy. And all of a sudden I see somebody look down the hallway and they start pointing. And they're pointing at me. And they're like, oh, is that guy right there? I was like, damn.
Oh, fuck.
Here come the cops, man, straight down the hallway. They grab me. They get me, and then we start going to the cop shop. I'm like, shit. Uh-huh. Should have stayed in my room like a dummy like I was.
Just stayed in the room.
Just stayed in the room, bro. So here they were going to charge me simple assault and assault of an NCO and stuff. So I was like, dang, I am fucked. I'm only got 3 stripes, so I'm going to lose these things. So, long story short, the guy was too drunk to finish his statement. I had a roommate who also was getting out to be an attorney, write my defense counsel paperwork, got me off of all charges. Excuse me. I got permanently decertified from a security clearance that I should have had on my next base. So I got rerouted to Dias. That's how I got there. Mm-hmm. I call that 4 years of correctional custody because it sucked.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to Seymour Johnson in North Carolina and stuff. So Shady J. And I got diverted because of my security clearance got pulled. But anyway, so that happened there. And the second time I got in trouble was when I got deployed right after 9/11. I smacked a dude while I was getting his haircut.
What happened there?
He I didn't even know this guy. And he just started spouting off again. I'm like, why is he calling me names? Why is he calling me names?
What was he talking shit about?
You know what? I can't recall at the last time, but all I remember from that, the words that stuck in my mouth. Why? Because when I said it after I got in trouble, it was a bunch of giggles. So I was wearing this hat. I guess I got this hat over there, and I was wearing this hat during the time, and he kept saying something, and he's like, "Well, at least I don't look like a cocksucking lumberjack." I was like, I smacked him, bro. Right.
What was the hat? What did the hat look like?
It was just a little like a little beanie, bro.
Like a beanie
on the top of your head.
Oh,
yeah, it was just a beanie on the top of your head. It had a little Ferrari symbol on the center of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, just a little beanie.
But it was a beanie, but it had a wide brim all the way around.
Yeah, like a brim. Yeah.
All the way around and stuff, and it was like ribbed, around kind of stuff. So it fit real close to the head, like a Scully and stuff. Yep. And I was like, okay, so. I was like, whatever. So I smacked him, got in trouble that time. This time, they were gonna try and make it stick. But when I stood in front of the commander, Colonel Woody. I remember this guy, Colonel Woody, and I had my two supervisors behind me, and he's like, he has hands crossed. He's like, Sergeant Henry, look, we can't go around smacking everybody that calls you a cocksucking lumberjack. And we said that.
He said that. Oh,
exactly.
Shit.
That's exactly what he said that, right?
Oh, fuck.
My two supervisors behind me are just snickering, bro. I'm like, they're losing all military bearing.
Yeah.
I'm stunned because he said that for one, and my supervisor assholes behind me are just snickering like a bitch. I'm like, you guys aren't helping me, man. Thanks. And I said, yes, sir. Absolutely correct. He's like, look, we're in high times here. We all need to get together, and we all got to come out of this thing alive, and stuff. And I was like, yes, sir, I understand. I was just agreeing with everything, whatever.
Yeah. At that point,
it's like, here's what I'm going to do. He goes, I'm going to give you a 6 month letter reprimand. LOR, LOC, I'm not going to take a stripe from you. I'm not going to put you in CC. I'm not going to take any money from you and stuff like that. I was like, fine, cool. He's like, you got your probationary period is 6 months, period. If you mess up any time in that 6 months, we will pull a stripe. I'm like, dude, got it. He's got it. So I get out of there, man. I go back to my tent at the time and stuff. And I survived that fiasco coming back. And after that, man, I was pretty much a model NCO all the way to the end of my career, man. As far as that goes,
didn't have to smack anybody,
bro. There was times. Let me tell you, they were pressing the test button, man. And but you know what? I'm better now than I've ever been with everything. Stuff. So I'm not letting those types of people get to me, but I still have that mean streak that no one will ever want to see, that can and could come out if pressed in that direction. But I much rather like to be a nice guy and be going than anything. You know what I mean? It feels better. The internal demon of being mean is not a good feeling shouldn't be for anyone. No. So I like being around, like laughing, joking, having a good time, having my beer, as you see, and chilling out, man, and stuff, and doing stuff that's not bodybuilding related when I don't have to. That's about life, man. I'm just, I'm too old to be playing the dumb stuff, man.
Yeah, seriously. Well, even like me with this podcast, like it's something fun for me to do. Like, it's fitness related. We talk a lot about it, but it's really just having good conversations, Yeah,
and these are stuff that people will never know unless they talk at length with you, man. And they'll try to do that when they're standing in your line and things for pictures and stuff like that. But I'm like, hey, man, look, I got like 50 people behind you that are trying to just get a picture and an autograph or a T-shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. But it's cool talking. Thanks. And I try and kind of, shoot them off like that. But these podcasts, these interviews allow me to tell people the real DH, man, and so they know what's up, and so they get a little more feel as to what type of person I really am versus what I portray on IG or any other stuff that they may be reading too much into,
Yeah. Well, I think people really enjoy this style of podcast where it's it's just like a really conversational, and we get a little bit of training, nutrition, whatever information, but for the most part, it's just a conversation. You never know what comes up. Could be a lot of personal shit, but just like average stuff.
Yeah, and if anybody wants, to have you structure some questions for next time for me, I'm more than happy.
Yeah,
to do
for
so.
sure. Well, we should do another one. Definitely, man. This was fun. How can people get more information about you?
Find me. My Instagram is David_Henry_IFBB Pro. You can find my YouTube channel at David Henry, the Real DH, and the same with the Facebook page, David Henry, the Real DH. Should be fairly easy to find on that. And I also got my online store, D Henry Pro, which I'm going to incorporate here as my corporation here for a little bit in a little while and stuff. So got a lot of things going on, man. I'm gonna start training people. Jesus. I don't know what I was thinking.
In person or online?
Yeah, probably both, man.
Okay.
I've getting like several hundred inquiries online to do them, and then just shut every single one of them down. I've got dozens in person to do, so it's like, I'm only limiting it. I'm limiting it to probably 10 face to face and like maybe 5 or so online, because it's going to be, how do you juggle that? How do you differentiate who needs what and keep that stuff all straight? So
yeah, I mean, I've done both. I mean, the online thing's my thing. Like I'll tell you what, once you get in a groove with online, you'll probably not want to do the in person.
That's what somebody said too, man. But I like the people aspect of it, man.
I do too. But I
like teaching, so
if you get the right people in person, it's fine. But it's tough if you get some people who I don't know, waste your time.
Well, I'm a local dude, man. They know who I am and stuff, and where I'm at and what I train and how I train and things. So it wouldn't be. And I'm selective, and it's not going to be just anyone. It's not going to be for the gym. It's going to be for myself as an independent, and I'll pick who I want to train.
That's the way to do it.
Wants to jump on the D Henry bandwagon and go. It's not even happening. Not attaching my name to silliness.
No.
So,
well, cool, man. Well, shit. We'll have to do another one. We'll link back up and we'll do some more.
Give me a couple months, see where I'm at, man. See what's going on or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Absolute Strength Podcast. I know I had a ton of fun producing it for you. And before you go, if you could just drop me some feedback, I'd love it. I love reading your feedback. So you can go over to iTunes, leave a 5-star rating, write a little review, what you think of the podcast. I absolutely love it. I read every single one. But it's cool if you don't want to do that. I get it. No one wants to really go out of their way to do anything, let alone write a review. But I want to get your feedback. So drop me a line on Instagram at Hunt Fitness, or on Facebook, Kyle Hunt, or on Twitter, or send a pigeon or something. I don't know. I just want to hear your feedback. So if you want to give me some feedback, let me know what you think. Hit me up on Instagram at Hunt Fitness. And before you go, I have one last thing I want to say. I have a program I want you to check out. It's actually called the Absolute Strength Program, and the link is in the show notes. It's a program I designed to help increase my own squat, bench, and deadlift. And I got pretty strong off of it, and I think you're going to like it. It's a great book. Thousands of people have got amazing results from it. It's in the show notes. All right, guys. Until next time, until next episode, peace.